the BI tools and what are the key reasons to choose Tableau, and also the Tableau components in its ecosystem. So we have seen total 7 different components. So today I'm starting the Tableau desktop. Okay. In my today's session, I'm starting the Tableau desktop. Okay, so at the end of the session, you'll get the complete notes in the form of soft copy. Okay. So in Tableau desktop, everything begins with connecting to the data. So the first step in the Tableau desktop is connecting to the data. So if you open the Tableau desktop, so in my session, I'll discuss both 8 and 9 versions. Okay. So in Tableau total we're having 6 different versions. So from Tableau desktop 4, the initial version is Tableau desktop 4. From Tableau desktop 4, so Tableau desktop 4.0 is the first commercial version from the Tableau software, and the most recent release is Tableau desktop 9.2. Okay, Tableau desktop 9.2. So I'll discuss both 8 and 9. Why 8 and 9? Because from Tableau 4 to Tableau 6, okay, from Tableau 4 to Tableau 6, okay, the application got failed. Okay, Tableau didn't got success till 6.x. So from Tableau 7.x only, okay, so from Tableau 7.x, they got the moderate success. Tableau got the moderate success with 7.x, and Tableau came into limelight with 8.x. So if you know 8.x, you can, okay, so what are the features we're having in the 7? Just they have added the new features in Tableau 8, and in the 9 we have some new features. So if you practice in 8, it is equivalent to 7, and if you practice in 9, you could know the new features. So nowadays all the organizations and all the clients are implementing 9.2 or 9.1. Okay guys, so I'll discuss both 8 and 9. So let's talk about the first scenario. In my course, I will discuss each and every concept in the form of scenario. Okay, so in my today's session, I'll discuss the first scenario, data connections. The first scenario, data connections. So how to connect to the data source, or how to connect to the source system from Tableau. So from Tableau, if you want to connect to any source system, we are having two types of connections. We are having two types of data connections. Using these two types, we can connect to any data source. The data source can be a file, can be a database, and it can be even the online data like Salesforce. So the two types of data connections are, number one, live connection. And number two, extract connection. Okay. So total, we are having two types of data connections. Number one, live connection, and number two, extract connection. So again, in the extract, we are having two subtypes. The two subtypes are, number one, extract all data, and number two, extract some data. Okay. So this extract connection, it was called as import up to 8.2. It was called as import. It was called as import connection up to, let's say, 8.1. Up to 8.1, it was called as the import connection. So let me discuss about the live connection. So what the live connection will do in Tableau. So to the data source, let's say I'm having one data source. So to the data source from Tableau, if I define the connection type as live, so it's the data source. And it's the Tableau desktop. So from Tableau to the data source, if you define the connection type as live, we define the live connection, then what Tableau going to do here is, Tableau will establish a live communication path Tableau will establish a live communication path between the data source and the Tableau. Okay, Tableau, it is going to establish the live communication path between the data source and the Tableau. So what exactly the live communication path means? So live communication path means whatever the modifications we are having in the data source, whatever the modifications we are having in the data source, all those modifications will reflect into the Tableau. So let's say in my data source initially I'm having 10 records, 10 records or 10 lines of data. So I have created a connection with the Tableau. So in my Tableau, I can able to see those 10 records. So after, let's say after 10 minutes, 2 new records get added. So as here we are having some data modifications here, what the live connection will do is live connection will get those modifications into the Tableau. Okay, live connection will get those modifications into the Tableau because it is establishing the live communication path. So it means the data source will communicate with the Tableau with the help of SQL, and in the Tableau if you build any visualizations, the DL will come into picture, that DL will convert the textual data into visualization. So on a whole, it is known as BlizzQL, as was in the previous session. So let me show you practically how to implement the live connection in Tableau. Okay, so I am opening the Tableau interface. Let me open Tableau interface. So I'm discussing initially in Tableau 8.3. Okay, so I'm taking Tableau 8.3. Okay, so it is the start page of the Tableau desktop. Okay, if you install Tableau desktop, installation is very simple. So after installing the Tableau desktop, it is a start page. So the start page, it is divided into two sections. Number one, the data section, and next number two, the workbook section. So with the help of the data section, we can create all the required data connections, and after creating the connection where we can perform all the work means in the form of workbooks. So where we can able to build all the visualizations means in the form of workbooks, we can able to build all the visualizations and we can save our work. So let's start building all our visualizations. So first step is we have to connect to the data. So how to connect to the data means in this window, just click on connect to data. Okay, here we are having an option called as connect to data. Okay, if you click on connect to data, so Tableau going to show the list of the different technology source systems. So here we have to select our source system. So as of now, I am not having any source system. So just I am creating a simple text file. Okay. For easy understanding, I am taking one simple text file. In the text file, I am taking two fields. Okay, number one product and next number two sales. So I am taking the product as A, the sale is 10. Okay, the product as B and the sale is 20. Just I am taking two products, okay, with the two fields. So let me save it in my desktop. Let me save in my desktop. I'm taking as test data. Okay, test data. So just click on save. It is a file I am saving in my desktop. So just close this. Okay, so I am having the data. I am having the data in my desktop. So from Tableau, let me connect to this data. So how to connect it? Just go to the text file. Just click on the text file. If you click on the text file, it is navigate to the desktop. Just click on drop down. If I click on drop down, here I can able to see that. Okay, here I can able to see that test data underscore J. Let me click on it. Let me click on open. The moment when I click on open, okay, so it is going to show us that data in the Tableau. Okay, see here. So if you see here we can able to see that data in the Tableau. So total we're having two fields. They are the product and the sales. The Tableau is showing those two fields, and the most important thing is here see the data connection time. So as I have told, we have two types of connections. One is the live and the other is the extract. So the default connection is live. Okay, the default connection is live. So here I am defining the live connection. Okay, here I am defining the live connection. So I am giving the connection name as live. I am giving the connection name as live connection, and just click on go to worksheet. Okay, just click on go to worksheet. So it is a navigation you have to follow. So after connecting to the data source, your Tableau is navigating to one window. This complete window is known as Tableau workspace. Okay, this complete window is known as Tableau workspace. So the workspace means it is a place where we can able to perform our complete work in the Tableau. It is a place where we can able to perform our complete work in the Tableau. So now in this Tableau workspace in the left end here we are seeing one data window. This complete window is known as the data window, and here we are seeing the live connection. So from here how to view the data. So from here how to view the data means to the right of the dimensions here we are having an option called as view data. So just click on view data. If I click on view data, now here Tableau it is going to show us the data. Okay, so here how many records we're having? Here we're having two records, A and B. So after connecting to any data source, here Tableau is placing the fields in the form of dimensions and the measures, right? So why Tableau is placing the fields in the form of dimensions and measures? So as I've discussed in my previous session, so usually what the BI platforms will do, the BI platforms, they will connect to the data warehouse. In the data warehouse, everything will be stored in the form of dimensions and the measures. So what is a dimension means? Dimension always contains the textual data. If the field contains the textual data, okay, Tableau automatically places that field under dimensions. So what is a measure? Measure always contains the numeric data or the numbers. If the field contains the numbers, Tableau automatically places them under the measures. Okay. So if you go to our data source called as a text file, if you see here you have two types of fields. One is a text field and the other is the number field. So as the products contains the textual data, so Tableau is placing that field under the dimensions, and as sales contains the numbers, Tableau is placing that field under the measures. So here my data source, it actually contains only two fields. Okay. Whereas if I go to Tableau, here I'm seeing total 5 fields. In the dimensions I'm seeing product. Along with the product, here I'm seeing one more field known as the measure names, and in the measures we're having in our actual source we're having only one field called as sales. Along with that sales, here we're having two more fields known as number of records and measure values. So this measure names, okay, number of records and the measure values. Okay, these three fields will be automatically generated by the Tableau. For any data source, Tableau will automatically generate these three fields. Okay, so the purpose of these fields I'll discuss in my next scenario. So as of now, I'll discuss one field, number of records. Number of records is going to give us the count of the total number of records in our data source. Number of records field, it is going to give us the count of total number of records in our data source. So if you see here, so here how many records we're having? Total we're having 2 records. Okay, it means our data source is having total 2 records. So it is going to give us the count of total number of records in our data source. Okay, so now what I'm doing is just I'm adding one new line of data to my data source. I'm adding one new line of data C30, and I'm modifying one existing record P25. So here what I have done is in my data source I have performed some data manipulations by inserting one new record and by modifying one existing record, and let me save the changes. So now, okay, now as I have told, the live connection will automatically get the changes, right? So now let's click on view data and let's see whether Tableau is getting these changes or not. So in my data source I'm having 3 records. Once click on view data. If I click on view data, still it is showing here only two records, A10, B20. But in my data source, some modification has happened, right? So how to get those modifications into Tableau? So how to get those modifications into Tableau means we have to refresh the connection. So how to refresh the connection means just simply right click on the connection. If you right click on the connection here, we can able to see one option known as refresh. If I click on refresh, then here what then here what Tableau going to do is Tableau going to refresh that connection one or the live communication part once. So automatically Tableau going to get those changes. So let's click on refresh and just click on view data. Now if I click on view data, now see here, now here what I'm seeing here, just I'm seeing, okay, B25 it means here the refreshing is handling the updates, and also C30 which is a new insert, it means the refreshing is handling both the inserts and the updates. So here what I'm doing is I'm deleting this C30 record, just I'm deleting one record, and let me see the changes. So if we perform the deletion operation, can the refreshing will handle the deletes or not? So after performing the operation, just save the things in our data source system. So now right click on our live connection and click on refresh. Okay, so once click on view data. If you click on view data, see here now here what Tableau is showing. Okay, that Tableau is showing just only A and B because I have removed that C, right? So in this way we can able to get the data changes into Tableau with the help of the live connection. So in simple, what the live connection will do means the live connection just creates a live communication path between the data source and the Tableau. So the live communication path means whatever the modifications we are having in the Tableau, all those modifications will whatever the modifications we are having in the data source, all those modifications will reflect into Tableau just with the help of refreshing. And here one important note is here Tableau it won't store any data. Here Tableau it won't store any data, just the data will flow. Just the data will flow from the data source to the Tableau. So in Tableau, as we are seeing the data, so where this live connection will place the data means into our temp folder. Okay, into our temp folder, it will create one temporary file. Into the temporary file, Tableau is going to place the data, and we can able to see the data. The moment when I close the Tableau, okay, this temporary file will automatically delete it. Okay, if I delete this particular, if I close this Tableau, automatically it is going to remove the temporary file. Basically, it's a temporary file. Okay, yes, so it's all about the live connection. Next, the second type of connection is the extract connection. So let me discuss about the extract connection. So how to create the extract connection? So just go to Tableau. Okay, so here I would like to create one more data connection. So how to create one more data connection means, so if you see this Tableau workspace, here I am having one data source icon. Okay, with the help of the data source icon, we can connect to the other data source. So just click on this data source icon. If I click on this data source icon, now here Tableau is navigated into the data connection window. Now in the data connection window, we have to select the required technology. So the required technology is the text file. So just click on the text file. So if I click on the text file, so here I have to select the text file. The text file is test data, and just hit open. Okay. Now as I have told, the default connection is live. This time I'm selecting extract. Okay, this time I'm selecting extract. If I click on extract, by default it is showing us one message. Extract will include what? Extract will include all data. So as I have told, in the extract we have two types of connection. One is extract all data, and next number two, extract some data. Just extract only the required data. It means, let's say in my data source I'm having two products, right? A and B. So by default it is going to extract both A and B. Okay, let's say if I want to extract only A, okay, if we want to extract only A, then we have to add some mechanism called as filter. Okay, if I add a filter, then it is going to extract only A. So I will discuss extract some data later. Okay, if I click on edit, here we have to add some filter. Okay, here we have to add some filter to extract the required data. So as of now, I will discuss extract all data. Okay, so if I click on extract, it is showing this extract will include all data. So I'm selecting the extract connection. Just observe carefully, guys. So after that, if I click on go to worksheet, let me click on go to worksheet. If you click on go to worksheet, here Tableau, it is automatically creating one type of file. Here Tableau is automatically creating one type of file known as Tableau data expand. Let me show you again. Okay, here I am selecting my connection type as extract. After selecting the connection type as extract, when I click on go to worksheet, so here Tableau is creating one file type, okay, that is Tableau data expand. Why here Tableau is creating a file type called as Tableau data expand. So here we need to understand the internal behavior of the extract connection. So let's say I am having one data source. And I am having Tableau. So it is Tableau and it is a data source. It is a data source. So what will happen in the extract connection is from Tableau to the data source, if we define the connection type as extract, so now here what the extract connection will do means extract connection will take the snapshot of this data source. Extract connection will take the snapshot of this data source. Okay, extract connection will take the snapshot of this data source. So after taking the snapshot of the data source, Tableau going to place that snapshot. It is going to place that snapshot into one very powerful component known as Tableau data engine. Okay. So if we define the connection type as extract, what extract connection will do means extract connection will take the snapshot and it will place that snapshot into the Tableau data engine. Now the extract will be available in this Tableau data engine. Now here what the Tableau data engine will do means, now the Tableau data engine, it will read the data from the snapshot. Okay, now the Tableau data engine, it will read the data from that snapshot. After reading the data from that snapshot, okay, it is going to create a file known as .tde file. After reading the data from that snapshot, so it needs to place the data or it needs to write that data into one file. So it is going to create one file known as .tde file. Okay. Now the Tableau data engine, it is going to write that data, okay, into the .tde file. So what we are saying is we are saying this .tde file. Okay. Just we are seeing the output of the Tableau data engine file. Okay, so let me repeat again. What will happen in the extract connection means extract connection will take the snapshot of our data source and it will place that snapshot into one very powerful component known as Tableau data engine. So after placing that snapshot into Tableau data engine, it is going to read the data. It is going to read the data from that Tableau data engine. After reading the data, where it is going to write that data means it is going to write that data into a file known as .tde file or the Tableau data extract file. So it is going to create that file, okay? So that's why here we are seeing that .tde file. Basically, in the extract connection, it is going to create one output file known as the .tde file. Into the .tde file, it is going to write the data from the data source. Now every time Tableau it is going to connect to this .tde file, okay, but not the data source. Every time Tableau it is going to create the .tde file, but not the data source. So it means here the Tableau application and the .tde file will exist on the same machine. Okay, will exist on the same machine. So it means, let's say here the Tableau is in India and the data source is in the US. So in US, even though if the data source is down, in US, even though if the data source is down, so no problem. Like we can connect to this .tde file and we can able to perform our required analysis. So it is the most advantageous factor in the extract connection. It means what? With the help of the extract connection, even we can able to connect in the offline mode also. So offline mode means even though if the data source is down, we can able to connect to that data source in the offline mode with the help of the extract connection. So it is the advantage of establishing the extract connection with the data source. So now just go to Tableau. Okay, so now here I'm saying here where we have to save this extract file means we can save the extract file in any location. We can save the extract file in any location. But the best location is if you install the Tableau desktop. It is going to create one folder known as Tableau repository. In our documents directory, we click on the documents. So here we used to have one folder known as My Tableau repository. Okay. So when we got this folder means if we install the Tableau desktop, it is going to create this folder. So if you go to the Tableau repository folder, here we used to have lot of folders. Here we used to have one folder known as, out of these different folders, here we are having one folder known as data sources. Just go to the data sources folder. Okay, in the data sources folder, just save this TDE file. Okay, but important thing is we can save the TDE file in any location. But the best location is save all the files into the Tableau repository. What is Tableau repository means? If we install Tableau desktop, it is going to create this folder. So I am saving this file into the Tableau repository. Okay. So after saving it, so it is creating that extract. Okay, it is writing that data into the extract file. So now here I got the extract connection. So here I would like to change my connection name. So previously at the time of connection I have specified the connection name as live. Now this time I would like to change my connection. So how to change my connection name? Just simply right click on the connection, click on edit data source. We click on edit data source here I can able to change my connection name. So I am giving the connection name as extract connection. Extract connection. Just click on go to worksheet. So now here I got the extract connection and here I got the live connection. If we click on extract connection, just click on view data. If we click on view data, here we can able to see the data from that extract file. Now we are seeing the data from the extract file, okay, not from the data source. Okay, we are seeing the data from the extract file, not from the data source. Now here you may get one question. What could be the case if the data is modifying in the data source? Okay. So let's say for example in my text file I'm adding one new line of data. Okay, and here I am modifying one existing record. So if any modifications are happening on the data source, so can the extract connection, can it handle those data modifications or not? You may get the doubt. The answer is yes. Even the extract connection can able to handle all the data changes at the data source. So how to get those data changes? How to get those data changes into Tableau? So how to get those data changes into Tableau means, again we have to perform the refreshing of the extract connection. So how to perform the refreshing of the extract connection? So how to perform the refreshing means, so for the live connection, what we have done, just simply we have right click on the live connection and we have clicked on refresh. It is called as refreshing the connection. But in the extract connection, what Tableau is doing, Tableau is making use of the extract file, right? So we have to refresh the extract file, not the connection. So as of now, just click on the extract connection and click on view data. So just we are seeing only two records, A and B. But if we go to data, so we are having A, B and C. So B sales got modified and C is the new record. So if you click on view data, it is not showing us any records. So next, let me right click on the extract connection and click on refresh again. Okay, if I click on that refresh and if I click on view data, it is showing us what? The same, the previous information only, because here what I have done, just here I have refreshed the connection type, okay, or the connection. So for the extract connection, this refresh it won't work, because in the extract connection, Tableau is making use of the extract file. So here we have to refresh the extract file, not the connection. So how to refresh the extract file means, just simply right click on it, and if you come down here, we're having an option called as extract. We go to extract. Here if I click on extract, here we are having an option called as refresh. So just click on refresh. If I click on refresh, now it is showing us one message, that is refreshing the extract will replace its contents. It means here what we are doing is, okay, if you click on refreshing of the extract file means, again here we are running the complete cycle here. It means if you click on the refresh, again Tableau will connect to the data source. Okay, again Tableau will connect to the data source, and the extract connection will take a snapshot and it will play the snapshot into Tableau data engine. Now the Tableau data engine will read the data. After reading the data, where it will place the data means in the same extract file. In the same extract file, it is going to place the data. It won't create a new extract file, okay? So the moment if you click on refreshing of the extract file means, it is going to run the complete mechanism again. So just click on yes. Just click on yes. So now it has run the mechanism again, and once click on view data. If you click on view data, now here we can able to see what? B20 and C30. It means even in the extract connection also, it is possible to get the data modifications with the help of refreshing the extract file. Okay, so till now any questions? Any questions? Okay, I guess you people are good. So let me move ahead. Okay, so we have seen these two types of connections, right? The live connection and the extract connection. So here you may get one more question. The question is, Initially, let's say you have defined the live connection. So after defining the live connection, after some point of time, is it possible to convert this live connection to the extract connection or not? Is it possible to convert the live connection to the extract connection or not? Similarly, is it possible to convert the extract connection to the live connection or not? So let's see. So how to identify the connections means, so here I have given my connection name as what? Live and extract. So here with the name of the connection, here we can able to identify. But in our real life scenarios, we never give the connection name as either live or extract. So how we can able to identify the connection type means with the icons. Okay, with this icons we can able to identify the connection type. Okay, if you have the data source icon, then it indicates it's a live connection. And if you have the overlapping data source type of icon, then it indicates what? Then it indicates the extract connection. So with the help of these icons, we can able to indicate the connection type, okay, the live connection as well as the extract connection. So now my question is how to convert the live connection to the extract connection. So in the extract connection, what Tableau is using? In the extract connection, Tableau is making use of the extract file, right? So if you want to convert the live to extract means we need to generate a extract file for the live connection. So how to generate extract file for the live connection? So how to generate means just simply right click on the live connection. If you right click on the live connection, here we are having an option called as extract data. Here we are having an option called as extract data. Just click on extract data. So in the extract data window, just ignore all these options as of now and just click on extract data. Now just here what I am doing is, just I'm creating an extract file for the live connection. So it is saving into the data source folder. Just click on save. So already I am having a file with the same name, so I am giving some other name. Okay, live connection underscore CGS. Just click on save. Okay, now once see the icon type. Now the icon got changed to what? Now the icon got changed to the extract connection. So it is possible to convert the extract connection to live and live to extract. So again how to convert this live, okay, so this extract back to live. So in the extract connection, what Tableau is using, in the extract connection, Tableau is making use of the extract file. So how to convert that to live means just simply right click on it. If you right click on it, here by default it is using what? In the extract connection it is making use of the extract file. So just simply uncheck use extract. If you uncheck use extract, now automatically it will change the connection type to live. Okay, so in this way we can able to convert the live connection to extract and the extract connection to live. Okay, so till now we have discussed the three tasks. The three tasks are the task one is creating or defining live connection. Task 2 is defining extract connection. The task 2 is defining extract connection. And the task 3 is converting live to extract and extract to live. Okay, converting live to extract and extract to live. So my next task is here one common question I frequently face is in the extract connection as Tableau is creating the local data copy. So basically the extract file is nothing but the local data copy. Okay, it is a copy of what? It is a copy of the data source. So as Tableau is creating the local data copy, what would be the size of the extract file? Let's say I am having a data source of size 80 GB. Okay, my data source file size is very huge, which is 80 GB. So if we connect to 80 GB data source and if I take the extract file, what would be the size of my extract? Okay, what would be the size of my extract? So would the extract file size is 80 GB or less than 80 GB or more than 80 GB? Okay, that we need to know. So to demonstrate this task, so my task 4 is, okay, so checking the extract file size, So what would be the extract file size means? So to demonstrate that task, I am taking one text file. So the text file is, I'm taking one text file. Okay, the CSV file, the test data. The CSV file size 57 MB. Okay, so I'm having one test data. The test data file is 57.1 MB, and on this test file, I would like to create an extract connection. So how to create the extract connection, guys? Just go to Tableau, click on connect to data. Okay, so where the data is available on the text file, so click on text file. If I click on text file, so it is located in my desktop. Go to desktop, just scroll down. If I scroll down here, I can able to see the text data for performance. Just click on open. Just click on open. Okay, so here I am selecting my connection type as extract. Just give the connection type as extract. So after giving the connection type as extract, by default it is going to include all data, and just click on go to worksheet. See, the moment when I click on worksheet, it is creating what? It is creating one extract file, okay, to write the data from that snapshot of the CSV. So I'm saving into my desktop. So already I'm having a file, so test data. Just I'm modifying the name, perform. Just click on save. So now it is writing the data into the extract file. So basically that CSV file is having 1 million records. Okay, see, so here we got that test data for performance. So it is having few columns like e-name, added, job, commission, department, employee number, MGR. Okay, these are the columns, actual columns in that file. And here what Tableau is doing, Tableau is automatically creating 3 default columns: measure names, measure values, and the number of records. So I told that particular data source is having, having 1 million records, right? So if I click on view data here, here what Tableau going to show means here how many rows here Tableau is showing? Here Tableau is showing the first 10,000 records. So why here Tableau is showing only the 10,000 records? Because at a time Tableau buffer will support only 10,000 records. If you want to know the correct count of the records in our data source, just here we have a field known as number of records. Just drag the number of records and drop it into rows. So if I drag the number of records and if I drop it into rows, see here total we are having 1,000,001 record. It means this extract file is having total 1,000,001 records. Okay, so if you click on view data in Tableau, by default it is going to show us only first 10,000 records. It won't show us the complete records from our data source. If you want to know the actual count of the records in our data source, just drag the number of records from that file and just drop it into rows. So after dragging the number of records, it is showing us it is having 1,000,001 record. Okay, so here the most important thing is we need to check the extract file size. Okay, so the extract file size is here. What is the file size? 3.87 MB. So the actual file size is 57 MB. What about the extract file size? The extract file size is 3.87 MB. So it means if you create the extract connection and in the extract connection as Tableau is creating a .tdf file, So how Tableau will create the .kde file means Tableau will create the .kde file in the columnar format, not in the rows format. Okay. So and also in the TDE file, everything will be stored in the format of binary. Okay, in the format of zeros and ones, because if you have the basic idea in the computing, okay, in the in the CO in the computing organization, so each and every program has to be executed in the zeros and ones one, because the application, it doesn't know characters, it know only the numbers. So that's why Tableau internally stores the data in the TDE file in the format of, okay, in the format of binary. So that's why the TDE file size would be always, the TDE file size would be 3 to 12%, 3 to 12% of the actual data source. If the actual data source size is 80 GB, okay, the TDE file size is in between 3 to 12% of the, okay, in between 3 to 12% of the particular data source. It means from 2.4 GB to, okay, 2.4 GB to 15 GB. So not more than that. Okay, so here in my data source, I'm having 1 million records, right? So to get the exact value, how much time your Tableau has taken this in this particular case? Tableau has taken less than 1 minute. Okay, Tableau has taken less than 1 minute. So here how Tableau is fastly creating, extract file, okay, with that much fastness. So how it is creating means, at the time of creating the extract file, it means at the time of reading and writing the data, this Tableau data engine, okay, it will make use of the primary memory. Okay, this Tableau data engine at the time of operation, it will make use of the primary memory, which is nothing but RAM. So after creation of the extract file, it will place that extract file into the secondary memory. It means which is nothing but the disk. So it means here where I am seeing the extract file, I am seeing the extract file in my desktop, which means it is getting stored into the, okay, the disk space. But at the time of creation of the extract file, okay, at the time of creation of the extract file, it will make use of the RAM memory. Usually the primary memory would be faster. Okay, so it's about the extract file size. Okay guys, it's about the extract file size. And one last question you may, one last doubt would be, so what is Tableau data engine? So this Tableau data engine is nothing but a database. The Tableau data engine is nothing but a high performance database on our machine. So how we got this Tableau data engine? Okay, we don't have any setup base for the Tableau data engine. Okay, it doesn't require any setup. If we install the Tableau desktop, along with the installation, it is going to configure two things. One is Tableau repository, and next number two is Tableau data engine. Okay, if you install the Tableau desktop, it is going to create two folders. Number one, Tableau repository, and next number two, Tableau data engine. So the Tableau repository location is the documents folder. If you go to the documents directory, in the documents directory, okay, in the documents directory, it is going to create the Tableau repository. And what about the Tableau data engine? It is the application, okay, it is a database application, okay. It is having in-memory functionality. This Tableau data engine is having in-memory functionality. So in-memory functionality means at the time of operation, it will make use of the primary memory, and after completion of the operation, it will make use of the secondary memory. Okay, so it's about the extract connections. So we have seen the live function and the extract connection in 8.3, right? So what about in 9? So in 9.0, 9.1 and in 9.2, they are the same connections. Okay, so I'll show you 9.2. Let me open 9.2. I am opening 9.2. So it is the start page in the 9.2. So after connecting to the 9.2, so just connect to the data is there in the text file. Just click on the text file. So just go to the desktop. In my desktop, the data is there. So the data source name is test data. Click on open. See here in the 9 also, In the 9 also we used to have two types of connection. Okay, the two types of connections are the live connection and the extract connection. So in 8 and in 9, sorry, in Tableau Desktop 8 and in 9, we used to have the same connection, the live connection and the extract connection. Okay, so I have told up to 8.1 this extract connection was called as the import connection, right? So let me show you the import connection is, okay. So in 8 and in 9, okay, defining the connection is same. If you just click on the line, just click on the sheet. So in 8 we have go to worksheet here, just they have moved to the bottom, also to the leftmost corner. Just click on the sheet one. So if we click on the sheet one, here we can able to see the fields in the dimensions and the measures. In 9 we got one new feature known as, in the data window here we got one new feature known as analytics. This analytics is a new feature from Tableau 9. Okay, this analytics is the new feature from Tableau 9. So see here in 8 we don't have that analytics option. Okay, it is one most important entry question here. Okay, what are the difference between Tableau 8 and Tableau 9? Okay, alright, so let me show you the import connection in Tableau 8.1. So in Tableau, defining the connections up to 8.1 is one way. In Tableau, defining the data connections up to 8.1 is one way, okay. From 8.2, the data connection, okay, navigation got changed. So let me open Tableau 8.1. So it is the Tableau 8.1. Okay, it is start page. Okay, just click on connect to data. So just click on text file. Just hit OK. So it is there in my desktop text data, test data underscore J. Just click on open. So up to 8.1, okay, the navigation window is different here. Up to 8.1, if you want to define any connection, okay, the connection window is one text box. It is a text box, okay. So here we have to specify the connection name here. We have to specify the connection name here. I am giving the connection name as live. Just hit OK. So after defining the connection name as live, now here we are getting one more window called as a data connection. Whereas in 8 or in 9, okay, if you go to 8 or in 9, so in the same window, it is in the same window we have to define the connection type, okay, either live or extract. So, okay, up to 8.1, if you want to define the data connection, just it is a text box. And from 8.2, if we want to define the data connection, it is the graphical window, and in the same window we have to define everything. So just here, okay, if you want to define the live connection, you have to go with the connect live. In the, okay, below to the connect live, we are seeing two more options. They are import all data and import some data. So extract connection was called as import up to 8.1. If you click on import all data, it is automatically creating the file type known as Tableau data extract. So see here it is connecting to the data source in the live mode. Again everything is same. Okay, say the product and sales, and we are seeing the default three fields, their names, their values, and the number of records. So it's all about the data connections in the Tableau base. Okay, so any questions on the data connections, please? Any questions on the data connections?
Hi, I just want to know the limitation for extract connection, how much we can extract.
Yeah, that's a good question. So the limitations of the extract connection are, so for extract connection is completely depending on your Tableau data engine. So what this Tableau data engine will do means, this Tableau data engine at the time of creation of the extract, it will make use of the primary memory. It means it will make use of the RAM memory. So let's say your extract, your data source size is 80 GB, and it is creating the extract file size of, let's say, 6 GB. But in your RAM, you have the free space of only 3 GB. In your RAM, you have the free space of only 3 GB. Then in those cases, it won't create the extract file. Okay, if the extract file there is 6 GB, okay, your free RAM size would be more than 6 GB. If it is less than 6 GB means, okay, it won't create. So it is one of the limitations of the extract file. On the flip side, the extract connection is having more advantages. It will improve the performance for the slow performance databases.
Okay. Here if we have like a 3 GB, can we use filter and do it?
Yeah,
Extracting?
yes, we
Okay.
will filter.
Okay, thank you.
And also here, one more thing is like when we have to use one more question, I think and paste it. So when we have to use the live connection and when we have to use the extract connection. So how to make the choice? So when we have to use the live connection means if the data is changing frequently in the data source, if the data is changing frequently, let's say for every 10 minutes, and if you want to get those data changes into Tableau, then obviously we have to go for the live connection. Okay, because how to get the data changes, you have to perform refreshing, right? So the live connection is having, by default, the live connection is having incremental refresh. So incremental refresh means it is going to add the new data to the existing data. It won't remove the existing data. Okay, let's say for example, in my data source I'm having 1 crore records and I have defined the live connection. So in Tableau I can able to see those 1 crore records. After 10 minutes, okay, 10 new records get added. 10 new records get added. So what the live connection will do means if we define the refresh, okay, it is going to add those 10 new records to the 1 crore records. Okay, it won't disturb this 1 crore record. It just is going to add those 10 new records to the existing 1 crore records. So what will happen with the extract connection? If we define the extract connection, by default, the extract connection is having full refresh. So full refresh in the sense it is going to handle again the complete records. Okay, why full refresh means again it is going to run the complete mechanism, right? Let's say for example, initially my data source is having 1 crore records. So if we define the extract connection means it is going to take the snapshot and the snapshot contains 1 crore records and it is going to write that 1 crore records into the .tde file. So after 10 minutes, let's say if the 10 new records get added, again what the extract connection will do? Again the extract connection will take the snapshot of 1 crore 10 records, of 1 crore plus 10 records. Okay, so next it is going to place that 1 crore 10 records, okay, in the snapshot, and it is going to read that 1 crore 10 records and it is going to place that 1 crore 10 records into the .tde file. It means what? Just to process the 10 new records, it is taking okay, the complete data. By default, it's taking the complete data of 1 crore 10 records. So it is a default mechanism. So even we can able to implement the incremental refresh also. That will come at the server level. So that's why the data is changing frequently. The good thing is just go with the live connection. The data is changing periodically. Let's say on a monthly basis or on a quarterly basis. We just go with the extract connection. And also the second thing is when we have to use this live connection means we're connecting to the high performance databases. If you're connecting to the high performance databases, then go for the live connection. So here, what is the meaning of high performance? High performance means the data sources which are in the up mode for 24/7. If the data sources are in the up mode for 24/7, then those type of data sources are known as the high performance data sources. Why? Why? Because in the live connection, the data will flow only if both the applications are in the live mode. It means if both the machines are in the on mode. If the data source is down, then we cannot get the data. Okay, in simple, it means the live connection is possible only in the online mode. The live connection is possible only in the online mode. What about extract connection? Extract connection is possible in both the offline as well as the online mode. Okay, and this extract connection is very useful while connecting to the low performance databases. Low performance databases. So what are those low performance databases? Like text files, all files, text files, Excel files, CSV files, okay, MS Access files. For all the files, always go for the extract connection. Okay, for the text file or Excel file or for CSV file, never create the live connection. It will degrade your performance. Always go for the extract connection. So these things you have to keep in your mind while creating the data connections in Tableau.
I have a question.
Yeah.
If you are going for extract connection, okay, normally what is the size of the RAM in the real time?
So the thing is, like, while going for the extract connection, we won't we won't take the extracts at the desktop level. We'll take the extract at the server level. Let's say if your data source size is very huge, so it typically depends on our data source. If you're connecting to the database, and if you want to take the extract of the data source means, obviously the size will be very high. So your desktop, it won't accommodate that much amount of RAM. Then what we will do is we'll take the empty extract at the desktop level. So empty extract means we'll take only the metadata. We won't take the data, and we'll publish that empty extract into the Tableau server level. So, and we will just perform the refreshing of the data at the Tableau server level. Usually the Tableau server contains 128 GB or 68 GB of RAM. Whereas if we connect to say like the text file or Excel file, so usually the text file size or Excel file size would be not more than let's say 20 GB. So if you get a 20 GB file means the extract file size would be the 3 to 12% of that particular 20 GB. So not more than 3 GB. So it typically depends on our data source.
In the companies normally means the size of the RAMs will be 8 GB or 16 GB RAM. In that case, the scenario will be applicable, correct?
No, actually it depends on our data source size, right? Even though if the RAM size is 8 GB, so the complete 8 GB wouldn't be free. The RAM would be allocated to some process which are in the live mode, or some applications which are in the live mode, and your OS will consume some RAM, right? So let's say if you have the 8 GB of RAM, so ideally the 4 GB would be free.
Yes.
So the better thing is if the data source is having a huge amount of data, then just take the empty extract. So empty extract means just take only the metadata, don't take the data. And just perform the refreshing at a server level.
Okay.
Whereas if we're connecting to the files means the file size it wouldn't be more than mostly we'll get in real time the file size up to 5 GB or 10 GB. Then in those cases you could easily perform the extract at the desktop level.
Can you explain that again?
Hello?
Yeah, can you repeat that one?
No, the question is like if the data source size is more than the RAM size of your Tableau desktop, usually we'll configure the Tableau desktop in the desktops. Okay, the real time the desktop's RAM would be in most of the cases we'll get the desktop RAMs up to 8 GB. Okay, in some cases the clients will give us 16 GB, but in most of the cases they are going to give us the RAM size of 8 GB. So that 8 GB RAM it wouldn't be free. Okay, so the free RAM would be around 4 GB. So let's say you have a RAM size of you have a free RAM of size 4 GB. Okay, but let's say you have a data source, a huge enterprise data warehouse which is having 180 GB of data. So you have the enterprise warehouse, it is having 180 GB of data. So usually the TDU files would be between 3 to 12%, right? So let's say, okay, the extract is taking 10%. So what is the 10% of 180? 18 GB. Okay, the 10% of 180 is 18 GB, right? So it means what? At the desktop level, if you try to take the extract, it will throw an error like insufficient memory.
Yeah.
Because it cannot it cannot place the complete 18 GB data in the available 4 GB of RAM.
Mm-hmm.
So in those exceptional cases, okay, it is not possible to take the extract at the desktop level. So in those cases, what we can do is we can take the empty extract here. So empty extract means, okay, without the data. Let's say, for example, if you take this file is having what? This file is having information. So in the first row, I'm having the metadata. The product and sales are known as the metadata, and these 3 lines of records are known as data. The combination of metadata plus data is known as what? Information. So in those cases, what we have to do is just we have to extract only the metadata to get the structure of the extract file. To get the structure of the extract file, just we will extract only the metadata. So how to extract only the metadata means we'll come to know. Okay, with some unmatched condition. Okay, by using with some extract some data. Okay, with some unmatched condition, we will pass and we'll get only the metadata. We won't take any data. So here 180 GB means that 180 GB it will be okay. It would contain the complete data. Okay, because the metadata it would be less than say like 1 MB or 2 MB. The remaining amount of size, it would be consumed by the data only. So at the Tableau desktop level, just we will take the empty extract. It means without the data. So, and what we will do is we'll publish that empty extract into the Tableau server level. In the Tableau server level, we will do the refreshing of the extract file. So usually the server means it will contain huge amounts of RAM. We'll come to know, okay, about that. We'll come to know in the coming sessions. If I show you, practically, you'll understand that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So, any other questions? Okay, so in my today's session, I have discussed the data connection. So total I have discussed 5 tasks. So just practice the 5 tasks. And in my tomorrow session, I'll discuss the next things. Okay, so thanks for your time and we'll meet tomorrow at the same time. Thank you. And for the notes, just contact the Satish. Okay, he will send you one soft copy.